All right. Now, this should not be a long live stream. I feel like this is a low point in WMMA. I feel like it's a low point. I know there's a lot of new fighters that have been signed here, signed there. There's new fighters, new blood here and there. We just had an undefeated fighter fight on last night's card. But I feel like this is a low point. And as an undefeated fighter, I always keep an eye on undefeated fighters, especially if they make it to the UFC undefeated. That gives you more buzz, obviously. And if you can keep that undefeated streak in the UFC, you will rise in popularity fast after just a few fights. In MMA, you can just go on a 4-fight win streak, and that's above average. At that point, people are starting to expect you to be ranked at least. If after you're ranked, you win another, say, 4 fights, an 8-fight win streak is unusual. Most fighters don't need to go on an 8-fight win streak in the UFC. I'm talking about the female fighters before they get a title shot. Manon, I don't think, has had 8 fights yet. She has not. Several fighters. Look at Erin. She has not had 8 UFC fights yet. Very few fighters that have been in the UFC for a while went on an 8-fight win streak before they got a title shot. Very few. So it can happen very fast for the women. So that gives the UFC a relatively small window to make big fights happen. Their timing has to be on point if they are to maximize profit and maximize revenue from particular shows and particular matchups. Well, one of the most important matchups that you want to make is the title fights. And it's not often that title fights are timed well, especially in MMA. A lot of them happen sporadically, and it's unplanned. With the UFC, it's very sloppy. Like these fights on this past card, where one had a 12-day notice, or they both had a short notice. It's very sloppy. And I'm sure that contributed to his loss. Even if he had won, you would expect he would have done better had he had a full camp, been properly prepared. So my thing is, what is the UFC waiting for with this fight? We know that there's not going to be any other match for Weili other than Yan. There can't be. And they have to do it right. Now, I believe there's a show in China, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, there's a show coming up in China. They need to at least be the co-main event, obviously. But I would suspect that they would be the main event. Because I feel like Weili's most recent performance gave her a lot of clout. A lot of people looked at Lemos, myself included, as very dangerous. Like more dangerous than usual. Above average dangerous. A lot of people feel like Lemos would probably beat Andrade in a rematch, and that Andrade kind of got lucky, myself included. So the way she dominated Lemos, she dominated her, I think really gave her a lot of clout. Now there is a show in China. It's a fight night. And I expect Weili Zhang to fight Xiaonan. That is December 9th, 2023. December 9th, 2023. I expect Weili Zhang to defend her title against Xiaonan. Now I want to send a big shout out to Xiaonan, who has already sold the fight. Oh yes, she has. Weili has, in my opinion, Yan to thank for having already sold the fight. I'm very proud of Yan for that. If nothing else, salute. Oh yeah. Suarez, I think, needs to get into the back of the line. I like Suarez, and I think Suarez deserves to be the next title contender. But I think Weili's next fight should be Yan, especially with Yan ranked above Tatiana Suarez. I think Suarez need to put in more work. I think Yan's been a lot. She's been putting in more work. And she lost, had a bad loss against Carla Esparza of all people. But I feel like she's bounced back well. And now's a good time, perfect time to get this fight going. Primarily because I feel like Yan sold it in an unusual way that you rarely see. And I think the UFC should take advantage of that. Yan treaded on unexpected territory. This fight is really motivated, in my opinion, primarily by Yan believing that she's prettier than Weili Zhang. Now, I know she said it as sort of like satire. She presented it as if it was just something to have a laugh about. But listen, man, I know the female gender, okay? As a 120% heterosexual male, I know the female gender. When women say things like that, they mean it. They don't say things like that. And that's like universal. Across in every country, women are like this. If they're bold enough to say something like that, believe me, they mean it. They've taken a good look at their adversary, at their opponent, in the looks department. They've taken a very good gander at them. They know what they're up against. Because see, if they were to be wrong about that, and it's obviously wrong in everybody's eyes, that's a statement that could really backfire that you wouldn't be able to shake off. Okay, so for a woman to be bold enough to say that, she has to truly believe it. And you can tell she has to have taken a good look at her opponent. But she dared to say, I'm prettier than Weili. Now, to me, that's the most unexpected narrative. I expected them to fight if Jan were to stay at the top, to remain at the top. But I expected going into the fight for there to be a narrative without a narrative like that. But I believe they're going to try to push that angle a little bit. You know, UFC fans are silly. These are beer chugging people. They're going to look for the funniest, most humorous, in my opinion, talking point and narrative. And the thing is, the pundits, the journalists don't have to do it. All the fans themselves are the ones that have to do it. And that's just the type of thing that men will start joking non-stop about in the comment sections of the the promotion of the fight. So I feel like a lot of narratives in the build up to fights is based on fan reaction to whatever the UFC posts. And I feel like that's something that's about to grow legs in the build up to this fight. And it's the best, most logical fight to make, in my opinion. And I feel like it is a fight that could sort of revive women's MMA. Because I feel like somebody's most likely going to get stopped in 5 rounds. Something crazy is going to happen. I feel like it's going to be a wild, very wild fight. This past weekend, I was looking forward to Dudakova's fight because she's undefeated. Like, you know, everybody knows I keep up with undefeated. I keep my eye out on undefeated fighters. I know she came out and said she had staph infection. I feel like she looked bad. I feel like she looked very bad in that fight, and I was disappointed because of it. I, wanted her to look dangerous, formidable. I wanted her to look like something to get my attention, something to look forward to make me want to spend my money on to watch. And I was unsatisfied. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a number of fights that have been made, a few fights that have been made that I'm looking forward to. But I feel like we're at a low point and they need a marquee fight, a big fight to, reignite their momentum. Okay? One man's opinion. Because they're talking about a trilogy with Shevchenko and Grasso. I feel like that sort of slows the momentum. I felt like they had something going there and they should have kept going. Like, okay, people were willing to stomach the rematch. But most people felt like, hey, if Grasso wins the rematch, let's move on. We may just have to deal with Valentina, the contender, at least for one fight. Let Shevchenko at least have one fight. If she looks spectacular, okay, give her a rematch. But here, Dana White has already come out talking about a trilogy. So, it sort of blunts the momentum. Yeah, looking forward to Manon Blanchfield. But the momentum has been slowed. And I feel like the strawweight divisions has taken the back seat to the flyweight division, despite that trilogy talk. And this is the perfect fight to get the ball rolling again. Now with Tatiana Suarez, I understand the hype and desire to see her fight for the belt. She's never fought for the belt. And everybody, a lot of people believe she's going to at least get it once. I suspect she might as well. But it's just so rare, in my opinion. A fight like Weili against Zhang, to happen. It'll be the first two Chinese fighters from China. One of them was the very first Chinese signed fighter or something like that, or at least the first female. Either the first female or the first Chinese fighter in the UFC. And that's Xiaonan. The other one, the first champion. Okay? That's rare all by itself. And they're fighting for a strap in China. That's even more rare. You just don't pass up on things like that. And Yan has genuine beef. She tries to act like she don't, but she does. She don't like the way people look at Weili as the national hero. And that's real. That's not fabricated. And it's rare that you have like a storyline like that. It's rare. And Dana White and the UFC passing up on building up fights like that the right way is part of the reason why WMMA is not as popular as it could be. You know, simple as that. It's not just a build up or narrative of, hey, I'm prettier. Yan, even with far more passion, she's far more passionate about how much more Chinese fans embrace Weili than they do her. She really, really genuinely doesn't like that. And I think it's hilarious. And I think it's the perfect element and build up to a fight. Suarez don't have that. Suarez don't really have nothing. It's hard to have genuine beef with Weili. Rose had it. And that could have helped sell the fight. But it's rare that you have any type of real storyline at all. Any type of build up. Any type of real beef or animosity or tension between the two fighters. It's rare already as it is. And right now, there's nothing with Suarez. And really, Suarez is looked at as the good guy. As she's like a hero figure. And so is Weili. And, you know, that's just not as good of a sale as this fight, in my opinion. Simple as that. I believe all fans are going to pick a side. And I believe most going to look at Weili as the hero and Yan as the heel. They're going to turn it. Yan has already said that a lot of fans in China don't like her. That's what she said. And a lot of fans, or I would expect, maybe, I could be wrong, will probably turn on Yan for saying that she's prettier than Weili. There's going to be a pocket of fans that's not going to appreciate it. Like, hey, Yan, you know, that's under the belt. And they're going to make an issue and it's going to get funny. Stuff like that blows up quick. Especially in a sport where you got like UFC. Where you got, man, I know the type of crowd that's in the UFC who leave comments. Y'all see some of the comments in the comment section on the UFC's social media. These are some of the wittiest, funniest, and a lot of times the meanest fans. And they are going to go all the way in. They see an opportunity to play, okay, who's hotter, who's cuter, and it's all been kicked off by Yan. They're not gonna let that go, man. I know UFC fans. So that's humorous. That's humorous. You know, and it's rare to even have a humorous element in the build-up to a fight, especially a title fight. You just don't have that Tatiana Suarez. Okay? Okay, so that's one thing, and you got the genuine beef with Yan. Like, hey, why y'all so crazy about Weili? What's so special about her? My striking is just as good. I'm just as fast, or she might feel like I'm faster than Weili. And you know what? I look good when I strike, when I fight. I may not have the ground game of Weili, but when I work, my work looks good. I feel like this is what goes on in Jan's mind. My work looks good. It looks respectable. Girls respect my work. And I think fighters do respect Jan's work. There are not that many girls who are admired for their striking in WMMA. I've noticed that. When you watch the higher level strikers, you see a lot of comments for their striking. Loma, if you notice after her fight, she got a lot of props from men. It's very few fighters, female fighters you hear like where men is like, whoa, she's what a striker, what a striker. And you'll see a lot of men like that. Jan is one of those fighters, especially in the first round. She can really dazzle you with her speed. And in her most recent fight, for the first time in her career, and remember, this was the first stoppage of her career, and it was the first round, one strike knockout. Very unlikely she's going to do that again. We cannot afford to let Jan have another fight. And if she does, we can't afford for her to fight Tatiana Suarez. No. Suarez just ruined this fight. So I think at least for the sake of the timing, now ain't the time. And Weili has to fight in China. She has to fight on that date. So let's just get Jan in there. Let's get this fight announced. Let's get the ball rolling. One man's opinion. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, y'all can expect me at least to be promoting it. I feel like it will help reignite. And hey, stack the card. Stack the card. May not be that many marquee Chinese fighters, but you know, you already got the two women as the main event. That might be enough of Chinese fighters on the card. Stack the card with some good names other than, you know, aside from Chinese fighters. You know, maybe put Suarez on the card. You know, reach out to Suarez. Try to whip something together before the fight. I mean, it's not too far out. I mean, December 9th, I'm pretty sure she'll be down. If you look at Suarez social media, I believe she's in pretty good shape right now. She seems to be on a disciplined schedule like a lot of fighters are. A lot of fighters, even when they don't have a fight scheduled, they go to the gym few hours per day, okay, per day. They still watch what they eat, you know. They might dip over their calorie intake a little bit, but they don't go crazy. They're staying in shape. Right now, Suarez looks like she's in shape. Reach out to her. Try to get her on that card. Maybe you can match her up against, I don't know, somebody. There's not that many options for her right now, I don't think. Amanda Lemos, I don't think, is going to fight. You see, that's why I don't like the inactivity from these fighters. Carla Esparza, she's not even an option right now, and she could be. She should be. You know, but yeah, at the very least, I hope she could just wait. Just wait. Let this unfold and wait. Weili, pretty active fighter. Somebody, hey, might get knocked out real quick. Tatiana Suarez will be right there. There ain't no rush anyway. Suarez, she's still relatively young, isn't she? Long as she keep training, she should be all right. Now, aside from that, like I said, I thought Dudakova, yeah, it didn't look too good. I know she said she had staph infection, but she didn't look too good. I am sort of looking forward to Ketlin Vieira against Macy Chiasson, just because I feel like that's a good style matchup. Two long, lanky, gangly fighters who are kind of aggressive. Feel like their styles will clash well. I would suspect their styles will clash well. But even though I feel like it's a low point, I feel like, there was some good fights on this card where Ashley Yoder fought Emily Ducote. You had Lisboa. That was real good for the Bantamweight division, I feel like. Wasn't that? Yeah, that was Bantamweight, right? Yeah, Bantamweight division. I feel like Lisboa. Is she even ranked yet? I'm about to check the rankings now. She seems pretty tenacious. Seemed pretty skilled, Tanara. She seemed like she could, stop you early. I see why she has a lot of early stops. She not even ranked. She is not even ranked. So the 135 might have some things brewing up over there. Mayra Bueno Silva had her win over Holly Holm overturned. I'm upset about that. They shouldn't have done that. I don't think. No. For ADHD, let me change my screen. No. For ADHD medication, from what I understand, on top of that, it was what? Like a week outside of the fight or something like that? And what is that stuff supposed to do anyway? What is it, like a stimulant? ADHD medication. I could see if it was a anabolic steroid. This is not even an anabolic steroid. It's not even like EPO. They just had an issue with USADA. How ironic. But no, that's ridiculous. You don't overturn, especially a fight like that. Why is ADHD medication on the ban list anyways? What is it supposed to, how is that supposed to give a fighter some type of advantage? Yeah, doesn't that stuff sort of calm you down? Now, I don't know, ADHD, no matter what it does, no matter if it calms you down or gives you a little more pep in your step, it can't be more powerful than these energy drinks and whatnot that people are allowed, that they advertise nonstop. They advertise stimulants. Now, I don't know, but aren't these fighters allowed to have at least an energy drink before they fight? I don't know. I've never even looked that up, and that's pretty sad now that I think about it. So let me look it up right now. Can fighters have caffeine in their system? I would like to know. Okay, yeah. They're allowed to have caffeine in their system. So UFC for the fighters, for the most part, rely on caffeine as an endurance enhancer on a regular basis. While some fighters drink it before a session as a part of their training, others consume it before a match if regulations allow it. So maybe they allow it in some states, but not others. I'm not going to look into that. But at least in some states, they allow caffeine. How can caffeine be allowed? How can caffeine be legal? But ADHD medication is not. Now I don't know. It looked like I'm having some technical problems with my live stream studio. Y'all should be looking at the WMMA rankings screen. But yeah, I thought that is weird. And then especially with fighters, their record does not reset. This is the one sport where you don't do that. Especially when you fought for a victory or something like that. Over something this foolish, that's ridiculous. We need Holly Holm to take an L. Like, what are y'all doing? We've been waiting for an L like this. We've been waiting for somebody to come through and stop Holly Holm. And to be honest, that's probably why y'all overturned it. Because UFC is a Holly Holm fangirl. The UFC themselves is a fangirl and a fanboy of Holly Holm. They're like, no, you stopped Holly Holm. Oh, no. That's ridiculous, man. Now, she's said, and I haven't heard anybody refute her, that she stops taking that stuff like a week before the fight. So if you found it in her system, it had to have been trace amounts. And even if it was trace amounts, if it was trace amounts, what in the world are you doing? What are you doing? This is supposed to be the high end of drug testing? Explain it. If you work for USADA, if you just think you're a brainiac who knows PEDs that well, explain to us how ADHD medication, a week after you've taken it, is supposed to give you some type of unfair advantage over your opponent in a fight. Break that down. Break it down. And if it doesn't give you an advantage, it shouldn't be banned. It's that simple. Why don't they get that? Why don't they get that? I don't. Anyways, that's too bad. Yeah. We will get her next time. I believe the UFC will still keep Mayra Bueno Silva on play. I think they like her as a player at that division. And this might just serve to make her more aggressive. Because I feel like what set her apart from other fighters who fought Holly Holm and lost, they had ineffective aggression. Especially with Irene Aldana. Very ineffective aggression. She would follow Holly around, but she seemed like she was scared to hit her, scared to make contact with her, whereas Silva is clearly trying to make contact with you and trying to hurt you. Like, you can't just let her hit you. Mayra Bueno, you got to do something. And as soon as you do something, the thing is, with Holly Holm, she got a habit of responding to aggression by running into a clinch. And that's when she's in trouble, because that's when Silva's real dangerous. Like, she's a little more dangerous in the clinch than the average fighter because of stuff like that. She can put you in a flipping submission when you get real close and you stay real close to her. So I think each time that'll be a tough fight for Holly Holm. Tough fight for Holly Holm. So we'll see what they're doing. They're obviously working on something. Obviously, they need to make a title fight at 135. So unfortunately, it will involve Juliana Pena. Okay, but what are they going to do? Juliana versus Holly Holm. I don't know. That'll be bad. I won't be looking forward to that. We'll see what happens. Look, man, if Holly Holm can come out and look like an animal, like a killer, I will be a Holly Holm fan. If she just come out and start dusting these chicks off, it's all about the performance with me. I will be a Holly Holm fan. But right now, she's just not looking too good. Not looking like the future. I'll put it like that, of the Bantamweight division. Now, I don't know what's wrong with my YouTube studio here. Yeah. But it doesn't look like it's working properly. That's too bad. So I'll go ahead and end this live stream here. Hopefully next time it'll be working a little better. All right. Big shout out to everybody. See you all on the net.